Today's Madden best run scheme is out of the singleback wing stack formation, and the run plays are halfback dive, halfback stretch, halfback power O, and halfback belly weak. If you are new to my channel and like Madden 25 run and pass schemes, subscribe and turn notifications on to see the passing scheme I will be dropping soon out of the same formation. Let's get into the breakdown. Now this is the first play, the halfback dive, okay? You can flip this play left or right. When I run this play, I let the blocks develop. You'll have the center or sometimes the guard to the side you're running. They will break off. They will block an interior defensive lineman for a second, and then they will break off and go to the secondary. You have to be patient and let that happen, okay? We're running it to the right here. We always run it to where it's our favor to run it. It's less people on the right side, okay? So we're going to let these blocks develop, okay? Most of the time, they'll break off and go into the secondary. Right here, you see how 64 went into the secondary, and we just kind of run behind him, okay? I'll show you an example of what I'm talking about. As you see right here, 64 hits that nose tackle for a second. Then he breaks off and goes to pick up a linebacker, okay? You need to be patient. Don't overrun this. Let this happen, and you'll pick up, look at that, we picked up 8 or 9 yards, okay? Now, okay, no matter where you flip it or where you run it, you just gotta let those holes and blocks develop, okay? You also can flip this play. We can flip it, okay, same thing. You just let that guy pick up those blocks, okay? Let that guy pick up those blocks. Now, I said you always want to run it towards the favored side, which is the right side, but just to be different in the scheme, you have to every once in a while flip the play. Flip the play every once in a while just to give them something different, okay? And you let those blocks develop. Let those guys get into the secondary. Let them. Sometimes they won't, sometimes they will. When they do, if you're following that guy that goes into that secondary, you'll pick up a lot of yards, okay? Sometimes we might have to go the other way. It was too crowded right there. But you can't flip the play. Let's flip it. Pick that block up. Let's just pick these yards up. Look at this. Let's just pick these yards up. Okay, we'll run it one more time and then we'll get into the breakdown of the next play. Beast, beast, beast. Now this is the next play, the halfback stretch. You can flip this play as well, okay? When I run this ball to the right, I pay attention to the 2 tight ends. I run in between the 2 tight ends. When I go to the left, I let that tackle go out and block. I go between the tackle and the guard. Okay? When we run this play, we want to be patient, let those holes develop, and just pick our yards up. Okay? We want to read the blocks and pick our yards up. Aim between right up in here. Okay? And just pick your yards up. You will average about 5 yards with all of these run plays if you run them right. You can flip it. When you flip it, I go right here in between these guards. In between that guard and that tackle. Let's flip it again and run it on a better result than that. Right up in here. I go in between here, make a move, and just pick up my yards. It's a really good play to complement that halfback dive. We have a lot of people over there. We have a lot of people over here. Let's go this way. Right up in between here. Get off of me. Get off of me. Just like that. It's just looking at the blocks, looking at the hat count. I'm trying to get it over here. Hutchinson is trying to be a beast. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. You will pick your yards up. Be patient. Read those blocks and pick your yards up, guys. One more time, and then we'll get into the breakdown of the next play. Ooh, 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 ooh. Give me those yards. Okay, this is the halfback power O, a great play because it has a pulling guard. I love pulling offensive linemen when you have run plays. You get the most yards out of these plays. We have a little motion by this tight end, which is a good motion because he kind of leads the way for the blocking. Okay, but when I run this play, I follow that pulling guard. I get near his outside hip, closer to his hip, and I just let him lead the way where I'm going. Okay, I let him lead the way, and I get closest to him, and I just kind of follow him. Okay, I kind of mirror him on his outside hip. Okay, just mirror him as best you can on his outside hip, and he will lead the blocks for you. He will tell you where to go. He will tell you where the holes are. Okay, did you see right there? Now he picked up a block, but we were still able to get a lot of yards. Okay, now if we overrun that, we won't get any yards. Okay, wasn't able to get that one, but we got to let him get that block, and then we can cut it to the outside and pick our yards up. Let him get that block, pick your yards up, and just beast. Let him get the block, pick your yards up, and just beast. This is how you run this play to the best of its ability. You see that guard? We're on his outside. We're just right behind him, hanging around his outside hip, his right hip. Patient. Don't overrun that big guy. You're faster than him. Let him get the block. And then we turned a little yards into a whole lot. We'll run this a few more times, and then we'll get into the breakdown of the next play. Just so simple, so simple, so simple. And sometimes I hit turbo soon as that block is engaged, or right when it's about to engage. Okay, right there, perfect, perfect. Good run, good run. Couldn't finish, but good run. Let's get into the breakdown of the last play. This is the last play, the halfback belly weak. A really good play. You also can flip this play, okay? I don't like the way it plays going to the right. I like the way it plays this way, but you want to flip it just to show your opponent something different. When you run it to the left, you want to just ride the outside hip of that tight end. Stay on his outside hip, get it to the outside, and pick your yards up. Sometimes he'll cut back. If he cuts back, immediately take it to the outside. When you do flip it, you want to aim for that A gap. Just go right through that A gap, okay? And pick your yards up. We'll flip it again. The tight end really doesn't do anything when you flip it, but just go right through the A. Oh, Jesus. Let's flip it and go right through the A gap. We got a 3-down lineman defense, but it's a really good play, especially when you run it to the right. To the left with that pulling tight end. Stay on his outside. Stay on his outside. Get it to the outside and just pick your yards up. Stay as close as you can to that tight end. Just following his outside hip. Following his outside hip, and we get a touchdown. Let's flip it. I don't really like flipping it, but it still is a nice play to run just to show him something different. A gap right here. A gap, and just pick your yards up. Be patient. A gap. And we had to go through this A gap this time because that linebacker went through the other A gap. Okay. Just pick yards up. Just pick yards up. We'll run this one more time, guys. This is your boy Wayne 6578. Yep, I'm outie, but I'll be back.